Hello everybody, this is an English version of a video that I made some time ago, but I just uploaded about a month ago. Well, this video is gonna be about me the day that I end up in jail. Not end up in jail, but detained because I had a major accident when I was on my home country in Peru. I don't make so many, well, actually I only made one video that it says like how to rent a vehicle in English and what are the requirements. That video was recorded after I got into the accident, after I went through that whole drama thing of me being detained and everything. First of all, I'm gonna tell you this happened overseas, not in the United States. This happened in Peru. And the other thing is, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not telling anybody what they should do because, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't practice laws or anything like it. So this video is to inform about my personal experience of how did it went. So I said that. In Peru, there was a concert kind of like Rock in Rio that they start making named Vivo por el Rock. So I was on vacation. I was gonna go, for that concert with my little cousin. And what ended up happening is that I don't live in Lima. Lima is the capital of Peru, so that's where the concert was gonna take place. So I live in Huancayo, which is a province. That it was 5 to 6 hours driving back then. Now it's like 8 hours, 7-8 hours. But usually I was gonna leave that the night before so I can arrive to Lima in the morning. Usually I drive in Peru at night. Well, most of my driving is done at night. And I was going, I was gonna go arrive to Lima, check into the hotel, rest throughout the day, so that way I don't have to sleep, during the concert. That was the idea. So as we were taking off, starting to leave the city of Huancayo, there's some little towns on the way. So apparently I had a head-on collision with a pedestrian who came out running in the middle of nowhere, where there's just fields on the side, looks like both sides it's just fields. And because of the accident, the guy, he passed away immediately. It didn't give me any chance to react. I wasn't able to do anything because he came out running. Well, this is my version of the story. So he came out running in front of me. I was not able to, do anything other than say the F word. I didn't even completely say the F word. So the guy ended up on top of my hood. I got, both airbags deployed because I was going with my little cousin because she was already on vacation. And she also loves music, so she was kind of the person who I went through several places. And as we were going, we were like, I stopped. I was looking for what I hit, because everything happened so quick. And we saw a body laying down right, down the road. And immediately, I did not check his pulse or anything like it because I'm not a doctor. And I will not even know where to look for that. So I'm not gonna even try doing that. But I did call several places for help. I called in Peru emergency like 911, 911 is in America. It's in Peru it's 105. Nobody had picked up. Then eventually somebody picked up, but it was from another town. They hung up on me, so we were looking for the number on Google, literally. And we finally got connected. We told them what happened, And they said they were gonna send an ambulance, which never showed up for some reason. And the only one that showed up were the cops, but that wasn't from the place where the accident happened. That was from another city that was right next to it. Like from the first accident, I didn't make a big deal about it because it wasn't my fault. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't negligent, because I know on the next road they put like big speed bumps, and I mean big. And it wasn't that that long ago that they put those speed bumps, because people fly right there. I mean, they're going, I don't know, probably like 80, 90, maybe even 100 miles per hour. And there's some people who do agriculture that sometimes they go out at night, which I don't have any problems, but I'll come back to that part. But the thing is, that's the reason why they put speed bumps. And I was actually looking for those speed bumps because I didn't want to mess up my car. And as time when that happened, they showed up, they started taking my testimony. I told them what happened. I thought that they were gonna take me to the station. They were gonna take my my report, and then I was gonna be free to go, because like it wasn't my fault. That was a head-on collision. And nope, it was not like that. Not at all. What they end up doing is detaining me. They detain the car, they detain me. I spent the whole night right there waiting for everything, for them to do their investigation. Well, the first thing they did is they didn't breathalyze me. They took me to get my blood out and to get my urine sample, for narcotics or alcohol, which they knew, it was gonna come out like nothing. And on top of that, the funny part is, because Huancayo is not a big town and everything's close to it, and we didn't have a car that was gonna take us all over the place, I ended up actually chasing the officer that was in charge of me. Like, he was literally on the phone all the time, doing what he needed to do. But I was like walking right, either next to him or behind him. Like, I could have easily run away. And so, everything got, I got everything done. They took me back again to the police station. And then they took me to pick up the body. Yeah, I was gonna get another, they were gonna do a search, like if I have tattoos and things like that they can, I don't know, see if I don't know, like if I have some criminal behind, on my background or something. Well, everything was going nice and smooth. They picked up the body, they took it to the morgue. I went with them to the morgue. That's where they did, that other part of the test, kind of like a physical. And they took me back to the station. And in the morning, that's when all hell broke loose. It was not easy. People were like, I mean, the cops didn't make too much deal about it because they knew, I did what hardly any actual Peruvian citizens do, because when they have an accident, they just flee, they just go, they don't stop. But I actually stopped and looked for help and everything. So everything everything went bad because the other family, from the person that I had the accident with, they showed up. And I think the brother-in-law was a cop. So he wanted to put his nose, he wanted to say, he wanted to take care of the investigation and everything, which the officer of that town did not allow him to, because, that was not his jurisdiction. And like at one point he said, like, because I don't have a Peruvian driver license, I have a California driver license. So he was making, a statement saying that, I was not allowed to drive, and all that crap that usually they do. So they told him, yeah, they have an agreement that I can drive. They had my passport, they had my driver license, my ID, my Peruvian document, everything. And once that happened, the officer told him, what, we're doing what we're supposed to do, and he had no business right there. So I was like, oh, cool. Then they took me back to the scene where it happened, where I noticed Peru has one of the, I'll say, it's not just Peru, I mean, it's every country in Latin America, that they don't make, the investigation the way it's supposed to. So some of the stuff did not even make sense. And I was even gonna say, but I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna even deal with it. And I stayed with what I said with my statement. And the other family lawyer, they came with a lawyer also, said that that I must have been driving distracted, that I run them over, like so many ways. One thing that they wanted me to do is sign a paper, which I was not gonna sign, because I came to the States when I was barely 11 years old. So like my education was just to 5th grade of elementary school. So there's so many words that I don't even know in Spanish, neither in English, that I'm always learning. So I was not gonna sign the paper until like a family member or my lawyer say, this is what it's saying. I was like, okay. I told them that. They were like, you speak Spanish, why don't you just sign it? And I noticed that they changed the paper. So at the end, I ended up signing, not that I was accepting, but that I was detained and everything. And that's when we started, to talk, how are we gonna solve that issue? Yeah, what it came out, the results were that the guy was super drunk to begin with. Me, zero alcohol, although I am on vacation when I go to Peru, but when I drive, I don't drink. And if I drink, I don't drive. That has been, I guess, maybe the only good thing I've done I've done so many good things, but when it comes to driving, I mean, that was like probably me being more responsible. Probably because I went to traffic school or driving school. Well, I went to traffic school too. But in America, like at least in California, for me to get my license when I was 15 years old, or my permit, I had to take driving school. And I knew how bad all that was because of all the schooling, and besides that, I've known people who got DUIs and got accidents while drunk. So I was not gonna do that. Even like I said, even though I was on vacation. Vacation is for me to spend time with my family that lives over there. So coming back to the story, we start to talk about what can be done. So at one point they were like, what, we're not gonna. They wanted a lot of money, I guess. They did not say how much. There's like in Peru, every vehicle is supposed to have like an insurance, like a liability insurance that it's called SOAT, SOAT, that covers people who get injured in an accident, whether it's your fault or not. So that was gonna take care of part of that, but I guess they wanted more money than that. So at one point they wanted me to be detained or be incarcerated. So when we were discussing how are we gonna solve, I offered them some money, because I like at that time I got to meet the other person's family. Like he lived with his mom, and I know how bad all this can be, because my parents got into an accident back in 2013, like 3 years earlier, in which my dad passed away. I know it's tough. So I'm guessing it's the same. It hurts the same as losing as a parent and also a kid. But I mean, that wasn't my fault. It's not like I was negligent or anything like it. I tried to make the things right. I'm not saying that I'm a millionaire. I'm not saying that I was gonna offer them a lot of money, but we tried to make everything work out. So we agreed on something. They let me go. Like all my family were looking, we were looking all over the place to raise the money, and they let me go. But before they let me go, they went and just make sure that I live where I said I was living, which Peru can be really tough on some stuff, but since I collaborated with everything, they were not that strict with me. And that was, we came to the settle, we actually settled everything. We made it officially when they took me to another place where, I don't know how to say it in English, but in Spanish I know it's Fiscalia. And that's like one door before they take you to the actual jail, or they incarcerate you. So I was right there, waiting for my lawyer to debate and come to an agreement. So at the end, before we came, we actually settled that agreement. They wanted me to they wanted to send me to jail, but I told them, okay, let's do it. I'll go to jail and I file a lawsuit against the guy's family. One, for the damage that it happened to my vehicle. Two, for all the time I was going to be detained or incarcerated, because I went with an American passport. I am an American citizen. It's not like I'm saying I'm the best because of that, but let's be true. And that was probably the only good thing that I had back then. And I knew, then later I knew that, I could have also called the American embassy. They would have sent somebody to, not necessarily to represent me, but to make sure that, my trial goes the way, that I get a fair trial. Because when you're in a country like that, if the other, family has too much power, they can turn everything back on you. So that's what I told them. I'm gonna call the American embassy. I was gonna, make all those lawsuits against the family, and that's when they say, okay, we'll take, what you're offering us. And on top of that, they were gonna get the money from the insurance. So I don't know what was the big deal about it. And they allowed me to pay part of it. Then I was gonna make complete, half of it within a few days, and then a month later complete everything. And I did do everything, what I was supposed to do. I felt sorry for the family, especially the mom, but I mean, it was a really bad circumstance for both of us. I mean, the other person, I know for the reference, he was at a party. So one thing that one has to be, careful, whether you're in Mexico, you're in Peru, or any other country that's not the U.S. Well, maybe sometimes even in the U.S. Don't drink until you pass out, or you don't know, what you're doing, unless you're in Vegas. Nah, not even in Vegas. But I mean, that was something that, that happened. He drank too much, and I guess he got assaulted. They dropped him, he got dropped off on that part of the road, and that's why we end up crossing each other at the wrong moment and at the wrong time. It wasn't the place for neither, him or me. And something that I wish I should have known is from the beginning is to call the American embassy and try to get as much support as possible. And that's not just gonna work in Peru, that's gonna work like any place. That's why they have embassies, even for Peruvian people. I knew from a person that I actually knew that when that person was in trouble here in America, the Peruvian embassy went and looked, make sure that he got a fair trial and everything. So that was my incident. I mean, there are some risks when you rent or you drive on another country. Back then, I did not have what's it called, a camera, kind of like a GoPro. And later on, I did add it. That's why sometimes I have footage of the places that I drive. And I mean, it's better to have something like that because, I mean, if I would have that, I would say, you know what, let's check on the footage and see if I actually run the person over. And they would clearly see, because they even made statements. I guess a big rig, slam on the brakes, and I think he killed what was it, a big dog. So, and also another thing is to be careful when you drive on places like that, because I mean, even when when I go to Ensenada, which is down the south from where I live, there's some people, I mean, I don't know why, even though there's a bridge to cross, we prefer to just cross, wherever we feel like it. So that's why I think it's better to have like a dash cam or something like that, especially when you drive overseas. Also because when cops see that, uh, they don't really make too much trouble, or else they'll tell you everything on it. They'll go like through their "let me bribe you" book, like all the excuses that they can use or find against you. So I mean, that was my situation. I mean, I wish I had one, and that would make everything a lot simpler, but I didn't. And well, that was my experience. I hope that this helps people. And like I said, I feel sorry for the other person's family. I never kept in touch with the other person's family other than me, doing what I was supposed to do. I still travel to Peru. I still rent vehicles in Peru. I kept my normal life. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy, but I mean, it wasn't my fault. If it would have, I mean, it wasn't something, it was something out of my control. So that's all I can say. I mean, and well, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching the video if you've seen this video.